This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community for creators with tens of thousands of classes in design, business, and more. You can get a 2-month free trial by clicking the link below. Premium membership with Skillshare gives you unlimited access to their platform, so you can join in the classes and communities that are just right for you. Whether you want to fuel your curiosity, creativity, or career, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and keep you thriving. Me, I've taken video production courses and a whole bunch else. Lately I've been on a bit of a productivity binge as I want to squeeze out as much as possible from my days. There's a great course on there by Thomas Frank, also a YouTuber by the way, on getting more stuff done. It's great stuff, worth checking out. But yes, Skillshare. Just do it, you'll like it. It's also free for 2 months, so if you don't, no big deal. It's also only $10 a month, which makes it incredibly affordable, especially when compared to pricey in-person classes and workshops. So support VisualPolitik by supporting Skillshare. It's a good thing to do. There is a link below with that 2-month trial, and let's get into it. Jeffrey Preston Bezos. If I say the name Jeff Bezos, many of you will know exactly who I mean, but others might just draw a blank.
Jeff who?
On the other hand, if I say the word Amazon, then I have no doubt that everyone, absolutely everyone, will know perfectly well what I'm referring to. Well, Jeff Bezos is none other than Amazon's founder and is currently the richest person on the planet. We're talking about a fortune valued, according to Bloomberg, hold on to your hat here, of more than $110 billion. Although, of course, his recent divorce wasn't cheap.
Jeff Bezos to give McKinsey 25% of his Amazon stake, worth tens of billions in divorce.
But just a second, how on earth did the son of a Cuban immigrant manage to become the richest person in the world in just over 20 years? Well, Bezos is the perfect example of what is popularly known as the American dream, the popular belief that anyone with a good idea and a lot of hard work can reach the top in the USA. Well, in this video, here on VisualPolitik, we want to tell you all about the empire that Bezos has managed to build. So listen up.
Big ideas start in a garage.
Have you ever wondered what's up with garages in the United States? Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Disney all began their adventures in garages. No doubt we all need a garage. Maybe we at VisualPolitik should actually get one. And Amazon also began this way. The garage of the house that Jeff Bezos rented when he moved near Seattle was where the company began. It was its first office and distribution point, all in that one garage. No doubt about it, this was the most profitable garage of all time. But, well, now, how did that idea come about? Why was Amazon created? Well, you see, back in 1994, Jeff Bezos worked at a major Wall Street investment bank, eventually becoming vice president in only 8 years. One day he came across a report that said that the internet was growing in users and size at a rate of 2,300% per year. And this is where the difference between what we can call a regular person and a visionary appeared. Upon seeing that report, Bezos knew that he had to dive into the internet world. He simply couldn't miss out on all of that growth. Jeff thought that selling books online could be a great idea, something that might seem obvious today, but which at the time was very risky. At that time, the book market in the United States was dominated by a group of large bookstore chains. But Bezos was going to pursue his idea against all odds.
I didn't think I'd regret trying and failing, and I suspected I would always be haunted by a decision to not try. I took the less safe path to follow my passion, and I'm proud of that choice. Jeff Bezos.
And that's how it all started. Bezos had created the first online sales company. Of course, today we take online shopping for granted, but in 1994, things were very different. Selling online was a revolutionary and an almost crazy idea. Very few people had access to the internet, and even fewer knew that you could buy all kinds of things through this new technology. Things such as books. But hold on a second, because there's something even more complicated. He had to face the two big problems that every entrepreneur faces. One, how to make a completely new idea a success, and two, how to get financing to carry out your plans. He needed to be persuasive. That's why Jeff Bezos' own parents lent him $300,000 from their pension fund. Then Bezos and 4 more workers began selling and distributing books from his garage. They worked in many cases 15 hours a day. Bezos himself took the books to the post office to make the shipments. Getting started, it was hard. However, within a single month, his company had already sold books in all 50 states that make up the United States and in 45 overseas countries as well. He invoiced around $20,000 per week. That's how, in 2007, after just 13 years in business, Amazon already had 614 workers. Of course, that was just the beginning. By 2018, that figure skyrocketed to almost 650,000 workers. This company, conceived in a regular old garage, now employs hundreds of thousands of people and covers 49% of all online sales in the United States. So they must have done things very, very well, wouldn't you think? But, well, how far did Jeff Bezos' tentacles reach? Well, listen up.
Our failures have to grow with the company. We need big failures if we're going to be moving the needle. We need to have billion-dollar scale failures, and if we're not swinging hard enough.
Bezos, growth and diversification as a guiding light.
If there's one thing that Jeff Bezos likes, it's new projects, new challenges, and above all, a concept, and that's growth. And grow is exactly what he did. Taking advantage of the resources that Amazon's successes provided, Bezos has built one of the largest investment portfolios in the world. From technology companies to the transport sector through to robotics or medicine, nothing escapes him. It's Bezos' empire. In addition to his personal investments, Bezos created a venture capital firm called Bezos Expeditions to manage his investments. These types of investment instruments specialize in startups. That is, they provide financing to fledgling companies with a good idea but who need money to grow and achieve their goals. So, which startups specifically has Bezos Expeditions put its money behind? Well, surely the most familiar is Twitter, a company which received $15 million in 2008 when it was still just starting out. But that's not all. Much of their investments have gone to the field of robotics, especially to Rethink Robotics, a company which received cash injections 7 times in 4 years from Bezos Expeditions. Although in this case the company ended up folding, and well, not everything can be a success. But if there's one thing that catches our attention, it's how Bezos Expeditions have changed their investments over time. For example, their first investments were very much directed towards the world of technology, the internet, and robots. But over time, they've evolved into fields such as online education, biopharmacy, and biotechnology, and have even invested in a vertical farming company. Actually, this is Bezos Expeditions' largest investment, totaling $200 million. But if this already sounds amazing, what we're going to tell you next is even more so. Because Jeff Bezos has already made significant personal investments. In 1998, he became one of Google's first investors. Yep, he invested $250,000 when Google was little more than a project. Can you imagine what that $250,000 is worth today? Just with that investment, even forgetting Amazon and everything else, Bezos would be a billionaire. The fact is that among his personal investments are many well-known companies such as Uber and Airbnb that he backed when they were just starting out. The guy certainly has an incredible eye for investments. And it doesn't end there. Don't think for a moment that Bezos doesn't have time for philanthropy. In 2018, he announced the creation of a solidarity fund of $2 billion to finance education for the poor. But this still isn't the end of our story. In 2013, Bezos bought one of the most influential newspapers in the world, the Washington Post. Why? Well, far from what you might think, it wasn't to influence the press or politics. In fact, at first Bezos didn't want to enter the media business at all.
I have respect for Jeff Bezos, but he bought the Washington Post to have political influence. And I gotta tell you, we have a different country than we used to have. He owns Amazon. He wants political influence so that Amazon will benefit from it. That's not right.
He had to be convinced by Donald Graham himself, the former CEO of the Washington Post and a member of a family that has owned the newspaper for 80 years. Graham thought that Bezos had everything required to lead the newspaper's transition from the paper to the digital era. And without that transition, bankruptcy was only going to be a matter of time. In the end, he managed to convince him. And yes, once again, Bezos' investment seems to have been a success. Since the founder of Amazon arrived, the Washington Post has increased its workforce by more than 200 journalists. It has fully entered business journalism. It has more than 1.5 million digital subscribers and has run at a profit for the last 3 years.
When I'm 90, it's going to be one of the things I'm most proud of, that I took on the Washington Post and helped them through a very rough transition. Jeff Bezos.
But the funny thing with Bezos is that we can be talking about a newspaper as much as we could be talking about space. In 2000, Bezos founded Blue Origin, an aerospace transport company. Blue Origin is an aerospace company that aims to facilitate human beings' private access to space. He has more than 2,000 employees and hopes to be able to send tourists to space by no later than this year, 2019. But the most curious thing of all is the reason why it was born.
Jeff Bezos. I spend my billions on space because we're destroying Earth.
And what's more, the thing about billions is literal. Blue Origin has become Bezos' greatest adventure, and he finances the project by cashing in his own Amazon shares at a rate of $1 billion per year. But speaking of Amazon, Bezos' tentacles don't stop exclusively at his personal investments. He's still Amazon's largest shareholder, one of the 10 largest companies on the entire planet. And the question we can ask ourselves is this: how far do Bezos' adventures go via Amazon?
Amazon, an empire within the empire.
Okay, so far we've talked about Bezos and his venture capital, but this online distribution giant also makes significant investments and has bought a lot of companies outright. It's got to the point that today, Amazon isn't just a commercial distribution company. In fact, not at all. Cloud services, movies, music, Amazon is covering more and more activities every day. Throughout the years, Amazon has bought companies of all kinds. Some well-known examples are the acquisition of Alexa Internet and analytics web company Kiva Systems, which develops robotic automatic warehouses and is now called Amazon Robotics, or Twitch, a famous game streaming platform for gamers. However, its biggest acquisition to date, worth more than $13 billion, has been the US supermarket chain Whole Foods, which Amazon wants to compete against Walmart and Costco with, taking advantage of its online distribution experience. But the question that many people ask about Amazon is, could this huge empire pose a problem for small businesses? At first glance, the answer seems to be a resounding yes. We're looking at a giant that is getting increasingly involved in more and more sectors. And this giant has stormed into the commercial distribution business like a true hurricane. But just hold on a second, because there are some important details that some people usually don't think about. Last year, in 2018, 58% of everything that was sold on Amazon were products by third-party companies who took advantage of Amazon's huge sales platform to reach millions of customers. Fewer and fewer products are being sold by Amazon itself, and more are being sold through their website by third-party suppliers. And it's not just physical goods. The company is also allowing many writers, musicians, and audiovisual content creators to release their work for sale on the platform. Therefore, it would be sensible to think that Amazon itself isn't destroying businesses, but forcing them to transform. Jeff Bezos, he was a pioneer in online commerce, and over time, his idea and that of the thousands and thousands of companies that accompanied him along the way have changed the way that we shop and the way that we live. And that's exactly what he's trying to do right now with a lot of different businesses, from the media to the aerospace industry. Jeff Bezos may not be an extremely well-known character, but in one way or another, his actions are having a huge impact on all of our lives. With this video, we not only wanted to make him better known, but we also wanted to show you how sometimes a person's success ends up translating into a huge benefit for everyone. Because the reason Amazon has been so successful has been because it made our lives a little easier. An interesting question to ask yourself is this: do you think the effort of people like Bezos would be sufficiently rewarded in your country? Well, leave your answer in the comments below. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please do hit that like button if you did, and don't forget to subscribe for brand new videos. Also, please do check out Skillshare 2 months for free. There is a link below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.
If you want to learn more about politics and world affairs and hear some more of my lovely voice, come check out the Reconsider podcast, where we don't do the thinking for you. Find Reconsider at www.reconsidermedia.com or on Apple or Google Play or your favorite podcatcher.